Hey, Julia. Have you given some thought to us living together? I'm still in good health now, but it's been 3 years since my husband passed away. Considering the future, I think it might be good to start living together sooner rather than later.
Good evening. About that living situation. To be frank, at this point, adding one more person to our home is going to be quite tough.
What?
I heard from Hans that you recently quit your part-time job. If you wish to live with us, one condition is that you'll have to find a new job.
Why should I have to work just to live with my own son and his wife? You too! Having the nerve to say such things while being supported by Hans.
I'm working as well.
What can a mere part-timer say?
No, I'm full-time.
And besides, the reason I quit my job was with the premise of living with you.
Eh.
It would take me an hour just to get to my part-time job from your place. So, I had no choice but to quit, right?
There might have been other ways, like getting transferred to a sister store or something.
Enough. The living together is decided. Living in your current one-bedroom apartment won't work for 3 people, so you need to buy a house or a condo right away. Or lease a larger rental property and move in as soon as possible.
Please don't make decisions on your own.
It has to be at least a 3-bedroom house.
We didn't agree to live together.
I will not accept any objections. I'll discuss it further with Hans, so start organizing your stuff.
This is too arbitrary. Mother, did you send a resignation notice to my workplace?
Oh, they received it.
So it was you. Why would you do something like that?
Now, you have no choice but to live with me.
No, that resignation notice is invalid.
What?
Of course it is. It's obvious it wasn't submitted by me. By the way, do you understand what would happen if I really did resign?
There's no need to rush. You can find another job once we move. Becoming a full-time employee might be a bit difficult, but you can easily find part-time jobs.
How can you be so laid back? Do you think we have that kind of savings?
What?
I've told Hans numerous times, instead of not considering earning more than he is now. I want him to think about the future and focus on his work. If you want to live with us, that's the starting point.
Julia, were you such a spendthrift?
What?
You should be able to live comfortably with Hans's income, and yet you're still not satisfied.
Do you know how much Hans earns?
Of course, I do. I heard it directly from him.
Do you really believe that we could quit our jobs and live comfortably with that amount?
Yes, of course. Especially if you get rid of your spending habits.
I've been nothing but frugal.
With Hans's income, I can't imagine why you'd need to save.
Mother. Is there some misunderstanding here? Are you sure about Hans's income?
I told you I heard it from him.
Are you sure you're financially savvy?
That's you who should be asking that.
I believe I have a perfectly sound understanding of money.
Good heavens. Your imprudence. I'm going to have a serious talk with Hans.
By the way, Hans is always at your house, isn't he?
Yes, I'm keeping him here.
Why won't he respond to any of my messages?
To keep you out of the living arrangement discussions.
Don't just decide things without me.
If we respected your opinions, we'd never make any progress. I'll contact you once everything about the living arrangement is decided.
That's not acceptable.
Once we start living together, get ready for some wife training.
Hey sis, long time no see. Got a minute?
Oh, Rick. It's been a while. What's up?
I'm currently planning to return home temporarily from my assignment.
Oh, really?
Well, someone broke into my house.
What? What are you saying?
Well, I was planning to do some maintenance on my house this weekend. It seems like someone has moved in.
What? You have to call the police.
Yeah, I was going to. But when I asked the neighbors, they said they were greeted with a "we've just moved in a week ago." And they identified themselves with your husband's and mother-in-law's names.
What?
I didn't believe it. I thought I should check with you, who holds the spare key to my house, before reporting it. Do you have any idea?
Just a moment. Sorry, we might have been tricked.
What happened?
The key I had in the safe is missing. The only ones who know the combination to the safe are Hans and me, so he might have taken it.
Why would this happen?
Actually, my mother-in-law has been pushing for living together. When I said that she would need to continue working as a condition of cohabitation, she said she already quit her part-time job, and if we live together, there's no need for her to work.
What? Currently, you are barely making ends meet working full-time. And now, the jobless mother-in-law is thinking of moving in.
I tried to explain this situation, but it seems like there's some fundamental misunderstanding. Crucially, Hans keeps going to his mom's house and ignoring my messages. We've been unable to communicate effectively for a while now.
I see. So in essence, they're trying to coerce my stubborn sister into agreeing to live with them. And for reasons unknown, they've set their sights on my house as the place to move into. It feels like they're taking advantage of the fact that I, the rightful homeowner, am currently away on a 3-year assignment at a regional branch.
That's probably what's happening. I'm sorry, Rick. I never thought they'd target the house you purchased.
It's not your fault. So, what should I do next?
Where are you right now, Rick?
At a friend's house. I've secured a place to unwind, so I'm all right.
Got it. I'll try reaching out to the mother-in-law. Depending on her response, we may have to prepare for the worst-case scenario. Mother. It appears you've moved. Where to?
Oh, Julia. I was just about to contact you.
Is it correct to assume that Hans has accompanied you to your new place?
Yes. You're too unreasonable and stubborn. I decided to discipline you before living together.
I don't recall doing anything warranting such discipline.
Are you still insisting on that? If you continue to be self-centered, you may have to consider divorce.
I don't remember doing anything to warrant a divorce.
Enough is enough. And Hans, who's been taking care of you?
Oh, so you're suggesting that I'm the one being taken care of?
Indeed. A wife who can't appreciate her husband earning $7,000 per month is unnecessary.
What? $7,000?
If you don't like it, apologize sincerely and agree to live together. Of course, I'll let you know our new address afterwards. If you bow down and agree to live together, I'll tell you where we moved.
Demanding a bow via messaging. Are you seriously expecting me to send a picture of me bowing down?
Yes, that would be perfect.
I refuse.
What?
I have no reason to do that.
Julia, you're truly stubborn. Are you okay with Hans divorcing you?
Yes. I'm tired. It's fine.
What?
It's okay to divorce a husband who brings home $700 a month.
What? $700?
Yes, Hans's monthly salary, after tax, is $700. He's just a part-timer after all.
Wait a minute. Out of the blue. Hans's monthly salary is $7,000.
Where did that number come from?
I got it from Hans himself. When I asked about his monthly income, he showed the number 7 with his fingers.
So, he didn't verbally say $7,000.
Ha!
Maybe you misinterpreted the 7 as $7,000 because $700 seems implausible. But the fact remains that Hans's take-home pay is $700. And to stir up such a fuss over this. I don't need such a husband anymore.
Oh, really? I don't need a lying wife either.
Well then, let's go ahead and divorce. In fact, we're getting divorced.
Sure, go ahead. And then Hans and I will live happily ever after in this 4-bedroom house that Hans bought for us.
No. That house will be returned to its rightful owner.
Ha! Returned? The real owner? Julia! What the hell is going on? Your brother just came here and told us to get out.
Ah, so he came, huh?
What's all this about?
That house was bought by my younger brother, Rick.
Ha!
Rick had a dream to own his own home from a young age, and worked part-time jobs hard since his student days. He bought his own home at 26, even though he was still single. The house you and Hans moved into without permission, that's the one.
What are you talking about?
Unfortunately, when Rick was finally ready to move in, he was suddenly relocated to a regional office for 3 years. During his absence, I was holding on to the spare key as I live in the neighboring town. But it seems that Hans has taken the spare key. I don't know what you heard from Hans, but from my brother's perspective, who is the real homeowner, when he came home for maintenance, like mowing the lawn or cleaning the house, someone else was living there. It's only natural he would ask you to leave.
What am I supposed to do?
Why don't you just leave quietly? It's clear that running away or refusing to leave won't end well.
Well then, you tell your brother to give this house to Hans and me immediately.
Huh?
As bride's brother, he should listen to what the married family says.
What you're saying is outrageous. Hans and I are no longer a married couple.
Ha!
I just submitted it to the city hall a little while ago. The divorce papers.
Ha! But Hans hasn't filled it out yet.
No, he already filled it out a while ago.
What do you mean?
Hans quit his job at his company without consulting me 6 months ago. Oh well, what's done is done. He quit his job, so for a while, I decided to work full-time. During that period, I expected him to diligently search for a job while taking on part-time and day labor jobs. However, there was no sign of job hunting even after a month had passed. He'd occasionally take on a short-term job or a day labor, and the rest of the time he'd just laze around. Seeing this, I made him sign the divorce papers with a promise that if you couldn't secure a job in the next 5 months, we would divorce. The deadline passed, and regrettably, we ended up divorcing.
So, the story about Hans only making $700 per month, that's true?
Why don't you ask Hans himself directly? I'm divorced now, so I have no interest in meddling with your financial affairs anymore.
Well,
by the way, It seems like my brother has reported you to the police.
Police?
Of course. You are squatting in someone else's house. Please leave my brother's house as soon as possible. That's all I want to say.
Julia.
Excuse me.
Hey sis, how's everything since then?
Good. I found a place to move and started packing.
Oh, I see.
By the way, what are you going to do with that house? It's got a stain on it even before you could actually live in it.
Oh right. That's why I wanted to contact you. The value of the property in that area has surged, and I can sell the house for almost the same amount I paid for it.
Really?
Considering the inconvenience fee or say, consolation money I got, I'll look for a better property once my job transfer period is over.
Well, as long as you're not at a loss, that's good.
Yeah, really. You're starting over from scratch too, sis, but hang in there.
Thanks.
I'll catch you later. I'll come visit your new place once the busy season at work is over.
Sure. See you then. After that text, my mother-in-law and Hans were taken away by the police. And her uncle, who came to pick them up from the countryside, took them back with him. Apparently, my mother-in-law was lied to by Hans that I bought the house. And since she misunderstood his monthly income of $700 as $7,000, they had a huge fight every day. Her furious uncle hit Hans with a get-a-job fist, and he finally started looking for one. Thanks to that, peace returned to my surroundings. Moreover, I was offered a full-time position from the place where I had been working full-time, which allowed me to start a stable life after divorce. As a side note, my former mother-in-law caused a ruckus at my old apartment just before I moved, and the landlord claimed damages from her. But that's a story for another time.